What up? How
Hi,
you
John.
doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
sweet.
Thank you.
Well, this call's for you. So, what can I help you with?
Okay. Firstly, I would just want to say thank you very much. Honestly, I started going through the Google Docs and the material inside is very great. And I'm just really thankful that you made this available to the public as at such an affordable price. So thank you so much for that.
You got it.
And
Absolutely.
okay, I don't really have a lot of questions, but my first question, just after I started going through the Google Docs, is I noticed that at one point we have to do cold calling we have to cold call the business owners and people who are hiring. So I want to ask, like, for people who are not based in the U.S. and don't have U.S. numbers, how do you recommend we go about doing that?
Have you looked that up
No, you mean looked up how to call people without a U.S. number?
or how to get a US number?
Right, okay. So I think I did I like what came to mind was that I would either have to use a dialer, maybe
Hold on. Are
an
you
eSIM.
trying to figure it out in your head or did you look it up?
No, I didn't look it up.
Oh,
I'm just
okay,
trying to
got
figure
it.
it out. Yeah.
Go on ChatGPT and look it up right now. Yeah. I don't fucking know. I'm not in outside of the US. I have no idea. So, maybe a Google Voice number would work. I don't know. But I'm gonna make some coffee while you look that up. You can share your screen, by the way. So,
Okay.
but I'll be right back. Find that answer. You have like 3 minutes. Let's see if you can find the answer in 3 minutes.
Okay.
So,
Just send the
but
request.
yeah, you're good to share. It doesn't necessarily matter who you're targeting. It just matters if you're able to call. Let me see. FaceTime, Google Meets, Viber. Yeah, no, you're doing the right thing. Never mind.
Okay.
I'll shut my dirty mouth. Stop giving advice
Um,
before reading all the data. You're in Cameroon?
yeah, I'm in Cameroon.
It's pretty cool. Let's see. Where's Cameroon? Can I drive to Cameroon? No, I can't. I cannot drive to Central Africa from
Yeah.
here. There's no road. Well, I could drive the road between Alaska and Russia. What? Okay, let me see. Choose my location. What? There's totally a way. I could totally get there.
You can drive there? I don't think.
Yeah, if the land bridge between Alaska and
Right.
Russia is
Bridge.
there, I will have to drive across the entirety of Russia through Kazakhstan,
Yeah, but it
Uzbekistan,
probably take
Turkmenistan.
over a month to get there from where you are.
I bet, and not to mention like the like having to drive through different countries and that have different rules. I have to get
Yeah.
approved,
Yeah, that's true.
so
Probably it.
probably longer. Yeah.
I think I've seen couple of options. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, like this is something. This is a very essential step, right? Like, there's no going around this. I have to call the people, right?
Yes, you have to
Okay.
call the people. Well, you got to think what's the fastest way for you to get a role?
Yeah. I think that's calling. So I assume that people like this cold emails work really well
Mhm.
because people in the US they open the emails a lot. So I just assume that that might be the next best option if cold calls might not be suitable or if I can do cold calls.
Why not just do Google Voice?
I think Google Voice lets you. Okay. I thought Google Voice can only be used by people in the US, but okay. I think this is an option that
Like,
ChatGPT
let's try it.
presented.
Let's set it up. We got 20 minutes. Let's use the 20 minutes to do something productive. So we got 12
Right
minutes
now?
left. Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and set it up. What the fuck else are we
Okay.
gonna do? Do you got other questions? Because
Yeah, I just
this
have
is gonna
one,
solve it
one
all.
one more question. I had just two
What's the
questions
question?
actually.
Okay,
So my
cool.
second question was, I think I have a limiting belief about the fact that since I'm not based in the US, that's probably a huge obstacle as to why I cannot get a very good role. Like the kind of roles where, 10 to 20K OTE and just really good roles, like because I'm not based in the
Well,
US. So I
what's
think I
the
have that.
best role you've had so far? How much did you make?
From the best, I made $3,000 from a DM setting offer.
So you're wanting to
And
go from 3,000 a month to 20 grand a month.
no, definitely not. I wanted to go from 3,000 to 5K first, then to
Okay, cool.
10K, and
Well,
then to
then
20.
the 20 KOT doesn't fucking matter because it's not even in your universe yet, right? Also, you can make really good money as a DM setter. If you get into closing in the DMs, you will make a bunch of fucking money. You probably can make 5 to 10 grand a month. I made 6 to 8 grand a month as a setter without closing in the DMs. And that was on a $7,800 product. And then my best month was like 15 grand plus because I closed a PIF, a 50K PIF in the DMs. So yeah, so that's the sort of thing I go for is shooting for something like
Yeah,
that.
I actually I do think just from watching your content so far, I can see that being a DM setter is it's very possible to make a lot of money with DM setting. But I also want to make sure that I can like have an experience in all three areas, like DM setting, phone setting, and closing. So I think it's gonna help me build my communication skill as well and talk better on the phone. So that's something that I really value.
Totally. Yeah, no, I agree with you. What do you think about because like in my role, we didn't care. We wanted to make money. We didn't give a fuck whose role it was. Like if I was busy and like the closer had some time to set, he could go set or do follow-ups. Like it's fine. But whenever I was calling his leads, I'd call, just go on Google Voice. Go look it up on Google now. Or let's see if it gives you a link. I don't know. But I would dial our list. I'd dial the calls that he, let's see. Interesting. Okay, next one. Scroll down on your screen.
Yeah,
On ChatGPT. I'm on ChatGPT.
okay. Okay.
I don't know if you're on a different screen.
Yeah, I'm on a different screen. Let me go to ChatGPT.
Okay, cool. Air call, I've used that before. Just call, you would have to set up. Wait, no, these are for Teams. Open phone might work. Yeah, Skype. You might be able to make Skype work, right?
Skype.
You can make calls through Skype, can't you? That's old, but
Okay. I've never used Skype. I thought it's like a video calling app.
so did I. But it's VoIP. It's video something. It's
Okay.
video over internet something. So
Yeah.
it's a service that allows you to call people using the internet, and then one of the extra features is that it has video calling. Right.
Oh,
But
okay.
I think you can actually call people through it. So try Skype first on that. But I'd recommend getting a role to, like, if you ask in the interview, like, how many leads do you have? Where are all the leads? Or how many of them are on Facebook? How many of them are in a CRM? Because I used to text, calling, DMing, and I would objection handle and get people back on the phone. So I built my closing skills before I became a closer. I would handle all their objections, or at least get them to a point to where they'd show up to another call. Even if it was the next day, I'd call them the next day, book them in for another, like,
Wow.
again. So it's just like, I don't want to take no for an answer. I want them to fucking buy. So if you can get onto a role where you have the flexibility of taking responsibility for setting as an area rather than setting as just DMs, and you can do whatever you want in the setting realm as long as you're hitting your KPIs, I would like hit your DMs in the morning, hit like 200, and then do all your responses, all that. Those are going to flow in throughout the day. And then you dial, and then you respond as soon as people hit you back on DMs. Then you're going to find that there's a hot time during the day where the DMs are hot, and then you drop
Okay.
dialing and you only DM during that time. Then you're going to find a time of day when DMs are cold, and then you hit dialing or texting. Texting's always the best. And I would text it in the evening, in the mornings, and you just
Okay.
overwhelm yourself with opportunity to where you're talking to someone at least like 80% of your time. You do not want any wasted time where you're like not talking to somebody, because talking to people is what causes money to happen. So the more often you talk with somebody, the better. But I'd recommend doing a role where you can do all of it, because you sound pretty good. Like I bet you can sound more relaxed and fun and like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think I can.
but like you don't have to be all like, however you actually sound like around your friends is probably how you want to sound on calls. You're like relaxed, laid back, like comfortable. You don't care. Like, cool, yell at me. I don't care, man. You think you're gonna bother me? You're gonna tell me no? Go ahead. You're not hurting me.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thick skin that I want to be able to build along the way. And
Mhm.
sometimes, like as you said, going through the rejections over and over again can be one way to build that, which is why I'm really working to find a role that can help me grow in that aspect. And
Cold calling, then you're gonna get all the rejection in the world and make no money.
okay, no, okay, I want to get the rejections and make money. So either way, I can still make money
Because
at the end of the
in
day.
DMs, there's no direct rejections quite often.
Right,
It's
exactly.
usually someone ghosting you. It's not them saying no, or I don't want to talk to you, or like fuck you, or anything like that. It's like
Right.
they just hide behind their screen. They don't have to talk to you,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. Which is
I would
why
just do
which is why
dialing.
I want to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Then I would only look
Yeah.
for that if that's what you want.
Okay. Okay.
And
So
then
I can try
try
the
Skype.
Skype as you mentioned, but the Skype work like WhatsApp where the other person has to have Skype before I can reach them or
Let's go find out. Go get
okay.
Skype and try and call me. Or you could fucking ask AI. Like AI would have
Yeah.
the answer.
Yeah. X AI.
Like you have this resource that can give you an answer to any question you have instantly, and you keep asking me. Like, I'm gonna know better.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm gonna send that voice note real quick.
Okay.
Okay. We don't want Skype. Skype the phone calls. That's what we want.
Okay.
Sounds like that could work.
Yeah. Skype credit.
This is how we free
Okay.
Cameroon. It's through Skype calling. That's how the Cameroonians will have freedom now. So
Right.
they will they can
Okay.
finally communicate with the US. That's crazy.
Okay. So I think this answers the problem or solves the problem of me calling people. So I'll definitely try Skype.
Good shit. Now, could you have figured this out on your own?
Yeah. I could have. Yeah.
Yeah. So anything that you can figure out on your own, here's the thing, because this 20 minutes, I don't have a pitch for you. right? So you can actually use it for anything you want. And you're bringing me stuff, and this isn't to shame you. This is what we worked on. So this is your lesson for today. But anytime you get a chance to get help, make sure that the questions that you're asking are unbelievably valuable to you and something that only the person who you're talking to could give you that information. Because otherwise, the person who you're asking for help from, I don't really care how you use the 20 minutes. I'm unbothered by it, but they're going to be like, man, fuck, this is a waste of my time because they don't feel like they can give you, they're not giving you extra value. They're being treated like a Google search, right? And then they're like, man, this is stupid. What the fuck am I doing? Like trying to help this person. And they're asking me like, how do I set up Skype and stuff like that? Or like, how do I call? Which is like, you should have that figured out a long time ago. If you have any intention of selling to the US, the very first thing you do is how do I get a communication line in with the US? And it can't be through DMs because DMs you have to wait. Calling's instant. Texting has a higher open rate that you might not know this, but texting has a higher open rate than DMs. Texting has like a 90% open rate. Email might have 30 to 40% if you're good, right? Maybe 50% and higher if it's a you're really good, right? My best open rate has been 34% on an email, I think. I don't think I ever got above 40. But on texting, everybody reads their texts. You read all your texts. When someone messages you, you read through every single text you get, unless it's an advertisement. So that's the same thing with everybody over here. So this is the best place to get a hold of them is through a phone number and a text. And they're gonna get, you're like, hey, this is Lighty. I'm from Cameroon. I'm looking for a sales role. I went through all the trouble of getting this number so I could text and call you. And I really like your company. Are you looking for salespeople? Like, and you send 20, 30 of those a day. Tell me you're not going to get a role. Tell me. Right. So,
Yeah.
And I'm not roasting you, by the way. You can feel bad if you want. I don't really care, but it's not going to hurt me. I'm just, this is part of coaching. And nobody's taught how to be a student, how to be a coach. If you can find the information on your own, then you're devaluing a coach's time. If you can't find the information on your own, then and you're going to a coach, then the coach is going to feel like the data they're giving you is special and only you are getting it. So they're actually able to give you value, which is the value of coaching is like a coach gets to feel good that they gave you value, right? So you give them that gift of not wasting their time and feeling like they're valuable. Now, to me, like I said, I don't care. I think this is actually valuable because I'm learning what it's like to be a Cameroonian and like how you guys might think about solving this problem, right? Where it might not occur to you to like go to ChatGPT and do, Skype. That might be totally a new idea. So for me, I'm cool. I'm chilling. So like, if you feel bad about it, you can feel bad about it. I'm not saying you've done something wrong. This is feedback. You're not being punished. You're not being taken outside the schoolyard and being whipped or something. Like there's nothing bad happening. I'm just giving you feedback. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Cool. So don't get emotional when people give you feedback either, because you're gonna look gay. And then I get emotional when I get feedback sometimes too. That's what I'm telling you. And that's why I can tell
Okay.
that it's happening,
Oh,
right?
you can tell.
I can totally
Okay.
tell. It's super fucking obvious. So
What?
yeah, you can't hide that shit, right? At least not from somebody who knows what they're doing. So it doesn't bother me.
Okay.
I'm chill with it. I understand the whole thing. I give you feedback, you feel like you've done something wrong, and now you're being punished with feedback because you didn't have it perfect the first time. That's fucking stupid. Nobody's had this conversation with you before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. No
that's it.
one's. Okay. I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. And I don't know, maybe it's just automatic because of how we grew up. Sometimes getting feedback or like it's almost like you're getting scolded because you didn't do something right the first time. And like here in Africa, I'm sure in some parts of the world as well, when a
Mhm.
child makes a mistake, you get yelled at by your parents and stuff like that. So it's kind of built in. So
Yeah,
I think that's something that had to overcome with time.
I understand. You can overcome it right now. It does not take time. It takes a decision for you. It just takes you, and you can journal on this if you'd like. You can write out feedback and punishment. And then you look up the definition of feedback. You look up the definition of punishment. And then you write out all the things that is feedback that you've been acting like is punishment. And you're going to differentiate. This is actual homework. Take this. This will solve this problem for you. So,
Let's just write
again,
that down.
if somebody's going to give you a homework, fucking write it down, right? That's another thing.
Yeah.
You know why people in third world countries move slower most of the time and aren't able to make as much money?
No.
Is
Oh,
because
why?
They don't do the habits of success. Every person I know, whenever they were learning, they have a notebook, they take notes. As soon as they get an action step, they're like, cool, action step. And they write it down in their notes. Okay, I'm going to take that action. Is there anything I misunderstand about that action? Yes. So then I'm going to ask questions next, right? They get their attention outside of themselves and into the work they're doing. Otherwise, you're going to be in your head all day, getting all emotional about every little tiny thing. And I don't know how the fuck you're going to get good at sales because you're going to be crying half the time. And it's going to be a fucking emotional roller coaster, right? So
Yeah.
it was for me whenever I first started sales, but I had a notebook with me once I started in online sales roles and I was learning from people and I took copious notes. I probably have, those like cheap spiral bound notebooks that are like this thick
Yeah.
somewhere. I don't know if it's not here. I think I might have thrown them away. But I had like 10, 15 of them, probably about that thick of notes. Not all of them were full. Let's say half of it was full of notes. But yeah, like just took notes on everything. Like every single little thing. Cool. Don't get offended at feedback. Here's the little drill that I can do to get rid of my offended at feedback thing. Here's the other thing I just learned. I don't have to keep my fucking problem just because, I had it before. I can get rid of it now. That's the other thing.
Okay. So you made taking notes a habit and it just like came naturally to you.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got to be curious. You got to be interested. You're either interested in learning or you're interested in whatever you got going on, your thoughts and feelings. You're never going to learn if you're worried about your thoughts and feelings because your attention's inwards and learning comes from putting your attention outwards. Learning doesn't come from thinking. Learning comes from gathering data, understanding the data, and applying the data. Does that require any amount of thinking?
Okay.
Does it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where?
It does because like most like I think that makes sense because that's exactly how we learn. Even why going through some courses on our
Mm-hmm.
laptops, you have to it's external. You have to take down notes and you have to focus on it externally. But thinking doesn't actually you don't learn why you think. So yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah. Looking. You look at stuff. Look is much higher, right? Think is you're trying to compute based off of something that happened in the past. And then also, usually, there's emotions and your bias mixed in whenever you're thinking. So you're never able to take the data as it's written. You take the data, then filter it through you, but you're the one who's causing you, I mean, not you, your mental crap. You filter it through your mental crap. And then that's how the data, you're storing data. You think through all this mental crap that you have, right? So then, for example, if you're worried about getting feedback or being scolded, right? And so
Right.
that now you won't fail or you don't take notes or you don't, as soon as someone gives you feedback, you go blank and emotional. So you don't do any of the successful habits and you're on another fucking planet. Then what happens is you don't accomplish any of the outcomes. Has nothing to do with being a third world country either. It's like plenty of people here, plenty of people everywhere. It's just that in a third world country, you're surrounded by other broke people who have low mental states and you live typically in environments which are not clean, which are not well taken care of a lot of the time, and that's also low state. So everything around you has a very low vibration. I'm not saying where you live, but I'm just saying in general in third world countries everything's
Yeah,
a
I want to
very
ask
low
like
vibration.
so like just a quick question. Does that act
Yeah.
like seeing a lot of dirt around you, does that actually affect how you think and does that affect your mindset and cause you to be like let me say lower status or
Well,
just limits you?
let me flip the question. If you were working, I'm just gonna like really paint a beautiful picture. It doesn't have to be this nice, but like let's say you were
Okay.
working in a building, all the tile was perfectly aligned. There wasn't anything crooked in the building of the structure, right? There's no crooked bricks because I know from talking to some people in I think somewhere in North Africa is my guess. They're like, we don't have building codes. It was Nigeria. That's where it was. They're like, we don't have building codes. So when we put together buildings, we're just going off of a guess. There's no like way you do it, right? So you get these
Right.
houses that are like scantily clad. They're all fucked up, right? And they fall apart and all that kind of stuff, right? So
Yeah.
does that sound very high vibe to you?
Yeah, I mean that just here just as I'm trying to picture as you said, perfect all tiles are perfectly aligned. I mean just picturing that actually sounds really nice, like not being
Yeah.
distracted by how crooked the tiles look. Just
Yeah.
everything looks aligned.
It's like a disturbance in the force if we think of like Star Wars. It's like you
Yeah.
have like aesthetics, right? It's one of the
Mm-hmm.
highest states you can have. So if you're surrounded by aesthetics, that's why I like having these paintings on my wall, right? And like
Mm-hmm.
I have a big screen. And the reason why I like that is because I have all this space. So you have aesthetics and you have space. Whenever you're in poor countries, everything is crowded, small. You have small rooms, right?
Yeah.
And all the houses are crowded together. There's not a lot of people have like land, right? Sometimes they do, but it's
Hmm.
very cramped. So you have no
Yeah.
space and no aesthetics. So it's all, if we think of like the highest states are the most out there and light and fun and playful and particles are flying around freely. And then at the heaviest states, mental states, it's dense and heavy and things really matter and they mean something. They're like dense.
Yeah.
If we look at like literally how like a European country is organized, everything's spread out. It's organized, right? In
Hmm.
rows. If you look at Paris, everything from the center, it expands from the center, right? There's feng shui
Yeah.
to it. Feng shui is like the organization of things in a pleasant manner, right? Where whenever you look at like poor countries, there's no feng shui. There's no
Not at all.
aesthetics, right? And then so that's what you're surrounded by. The vibe of the place that you're in is low, and then you accept the lowest standards out of yourself. You're surrounded by people who accept low standards, probably lower than yours, right? And then when people look
Yeah.
at you, it has nothing to do with like your skin color or anything like that. It's literally just we like when we see somebody from another country, it's just their vibe, right? Because whenever you're higher vibe, your quality of communication is really high. That's why I'm actually liking talking to you because I think your quality of communication is pretty good out of all of the
Oh,
Africans that I talk to. So I think it's pretty cool,
okay.
right? So yeah, absolutely. Like I can tell that you want to change and improve, right? And you
Yeah.
quickly change your viewpoint, which is really, really, really good, right? So
Yeah.
you're able to assume a new viewpoint if that one makes more sense. You don't, there's not like a fight about it. I have so many fights with like Africans and they're like trying to tell me like what's what. And it's not because, I'm better than them. It's just like I give them advice and then they just fight about it. They don't ask questions about it, right? It's
Right.
very aggressive. So I say all this to say, yes, it does matter. And even if you were to find a library you could work in instead of working in your house or find, go to the nearest town and get a really cheap house in the nicest place in Cameroon and
Mhm.
live in a more beautiful place, your state's going to raise and you're going to feel less compressed by the stuff that's around you because it's very distracting. You're in a place and things are crooked and like who the fuck built this like and all that kind of stuff. It's
Yeah.
distracting to your work, right?
Very
and
much.
and you're
Yeah.
trying to be creative and then you have something that's visually very unappealing. It's like in Hollywood, a lot of Hollywood's actually pretty, but there's all these homeless people everywhere. It's a
Oh, in
huge
Hollywood?
disturbance. Oh, it's awful. It's horrible, right?
Right.
It's a huge disturbance
Okay.
to the vibe, right? And then you have all this other weird stuff that's in Hollywood. Don't like that stuff. But like there's beautiful houses, all that kinds of stuff. And then you have all these homeless people who are like half naked in the streets doing weird shit.
Whoa.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
So it's very disturbing, right? And it disturbs the good vibes. So that's my
Yeah, I think
sermon.
that's definitely something I have to that's one of my goals as well, is to make sure that I can leave and this environment in general because I do feel like all of that all the pressure around here is really getting to me a lot, and I think just based on what you just said, that just confirms everything because being in a place where people are not very ambitious, yeah, I think that just has a huge part to play as well. So one of my
Fuck
goals
yeah,
is
that's
to
awesome.
get to a new place. Yeah.
Super cool. Okay, cool. So then why don't instead of shooting for a certain income target, have you priced out what it would cost to live where like in a nicer place? Some place that's let's say 50% nicer, like a big upgrade.
No, I haven't taken the time to price that yet.
Okay.
I just
Would you stay in a nicer place in Africa or would you stay in a nicer place in another continent or what would or will you stay in Cameroon?
yeah, I'll
Where
stay
would
in a
you
nicer
go?
place in Africa first for the
Okay.
time being. And then I'm currently like just after working a while in high ticket sales with some offers, I plan to relocate
Mhm.
to Canada. So I think I started putting my documents together ready for that. Yeah.
Not the US?
No, not the US.
Why not?
The US is great, but I just like from what I've heard, like I think they're like US and Canada, they're actually their taxing there is very much like it's I think it's from what I've heard, I just see that it's the way the rate of tax is really not appealing at all.
The rate
So
of tax
I
in
was just like
Canada is what's not appealing. The rate of tax in the US is fine. That's great. It's made for
compared to
entrepreneurs. Look, we
oh
could go ask ChatGPT. Can you tell me the tax? Like in Canada, I talk to people all the time who hate the taxes.
oh
I don't know than the US is nature. In the US, and this is from me talking to people. This is not from my own experience. But in the US, we have good tax codes. You get a good tax guy who does the taxes for you, and you don't have to pay a shit ton of taxes. I've heard of people paying like 50% taxes in Canada. Yeah,
I actually
in
never
a
heard that.
corporate job. Like
Okay.
if you make a lot of money, they'll just take half.
Wait, what about entrepreneurs there in Canada?
I don't know, but
Y-
it's very advantageous to be an entrepreneur in the US. That's it. And Canada is a socialist communist country. Like they
Okay.
suppress. I've seen them suppress freedom of speech. If you've seen anything with like Jordan Peterson, they've suppressed his ability to speak freely multiple times because he was working in a Canadian university. From what I, yeah, all the last stuff that I saw that was like 10 years ago. But it's like it's not friendly to
Gosh, then I think I
yeah.
definitely had to find a way to get better information because I attended conferences here in my country and information
Mhm.
about like Canada and the US. They made Canada seem much more appealing than
Yeah,
the
but
US.
who made Canada seem who?
There's some professionals that they say they work as Canadian immigrant specialists, like people who help people move
So
to Canada.
their job is to convince you to move to Canada.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, got it. Cool.
makes sense.
Do you think those
Okay.
do you think those are the most reliable source of information?
No, no, not I think about it. No.
Oh my God,
No.
Jesus. Look, I'm pro freedom. I'm anti-government. So that's the thing that I'm going to tell you. It's like whatever's going to help you be most free and less oppressed by a government. I don't think there's many countries on earth that don't have an oppressive government right now, and including
Yeah.
ours. But right now, there's no problems in terms of like if you want to run a business, be a salesperson, you're not going to get. I don't know. Like I look it up. Ask ChatGPT. Can you show me the tax codes if I'm making $100,000 a year as a sales rep? What am I going to get taxed in Canada versus the US? And if I'm in the US and I'm working as 1099 or working under my own S corp, which would it cost more to set up the S corp, but if you were working under certain where can I pay the least amount of taxes? If you really care
Right.
about taxes, talk to my friend. He helps people relocate to Serbia, and there's like really good taxes there.
Oh, Serbia. Okay.
Yeah,
I
so
I think I just after I got that information, I started really processing my documents for Canada, but I think I need to sit down and do more research about that to be sure. I
did
think I
you
also heard
ask any
some
entrepreneurs about it?
no not any high ticket closers or any entrepreneurs who earn online.
So you didn't
Just
ask anybody who is what you aspire to be about what their experience is living in the countries they live in. I know several people in Canada, and they love Canada because they like Canada, but I don't know if taxes wise they're getting. I'm just going to ask. Let's
okay,
say that you're a high ticket closer and you're in Canada or you're in the US. Where are you going to pay the least amount of taxes if you have the best CPA? You get a hop. You got
sorry.
to go.
No, absolutely not. I'm
Okay,
actually
cool.
worried about your time because I
Well,
thought you
I want answers. Also, I was wondering if I could use this recording because there's so many people who don't have this information,
right. Yeah,
like all the stuff that
absolutely.
we talked about. Okay, cool. I think it really helps some people. So not just for an LLC or corporation. Cool. So here, I'll share my screen. I'm not worried about my time. Whenever I'm generous, I receive generously. So I'll help you out.
Thank you
And
so
it also
much.
helps me with content because I'd like you guys to make more money so that way you can buy my shit. So it helps
Yeah.
me to help you. And by the way,
Okay.
I think you'd probably be a pretty good fit inside my program if you ever want to talk about that. Because
Oh,
if you ever,
thank you.
yeah.
I feel
So,
honored hearing that.
well, it seems like you're trying to improve, man. That's pretty cool. So let's see here. So it's loading. Can you see it? The ChatGPT window?
Yeah, I can see it.
Cool. So this is all you gotta like any question you have, don't just go off of what people tell you. Because I don't even know. I'm blowing smoke up out of my own ass. I just don't like Canada because there's a hole. All the farmers were revolting because I don't know if it was a tax thing or whatever it was, but like the country's been like not doing well. Like there's been like riots of farmers against the government, and they were spewing like cow shit all over like government buildings and houses and shit in
Ouch.
protest. Like whenever you piss
Huh.
off the farmers are who make your food. That's the wrong people to piss off.
Yeah.
So,
So they're like right now there are actually riots going on like in some states.
there was a few years ago. I don't know, but it was. Let's see. Okay, so you have some options. Nunavut. I'm pretty sure I've heard of that. I want to see. Top three are in the U.S. Puerto Rico is, I believe, part of the U.S. It's Puerto Rico or Costa Rica. That. Look at that.
Isn't Florida part of the US?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And it's a good place to live too. Lots of entrepreneurs, very clean, but you get lots of storms. So if you don't want to deal with that, then probably move somewhere else.
Storms like a lot of rains and thunderstorms.
Hurricanes. Yeah.
Thanks. Oh,
So
okay. So sorry, did you ask ChatGPT to rank the top places in the US or these places at the bottom, are they Canada?
between Canada and the US. So let me
Okay.
say, between all taxes, is Canada better or the US better? I'll just ask a simple question. There you go. But the people who subject themselves to socialist and communist rule, low vibe people.
Right. Just a
That's,
single search, everything.
yeah, I mean, shit, if you really wanted to, you could live here. But this is where people usually, like, you could live in, let's say, Texas, but you could incorporate your business in Florida if you wanted. This is not tax advice, and I'm also not, a tax advisor, and this is for entertainment purposes only, and not for
Mhm.
educational and this is not tax advice or financial advice.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like you could do that from what I hear. So you got to do all your own research.
Yeah.
But there you go, 5 to 15 percentage points. So if you're making that would
Oh,
be if you're making 200 grand a year, that would be a difference of $10,000 to $30,000 a year. California is bad. So I live in California, but I'm probably going to do something to fix my tax situation at some point.
okay. So you wouldn't recommend living in California?
I'd recommend it. It's beautiful. I wouldn't recommend living in LA. I'd live like 30 minutes north of LA or, 2 hours north of LA or something like that, where it's like just gorgeous. Just depends on what you
Okay.
want from where you
Yeah.
live. So I'd write out what your ideal scene is from the next place that you live. But if you're going to live in a nicer place in Africa first, I would just focus on that and then worry about where you're moving after that. And yeah, just
Yeah.
decide if you want to do Canada or the US or some other place. But I would actually like do some proper research. Don't just take whatever some fucker tells you at a conference because that's what they want. They want more people immigrating. They probably get bonuses based off of how many people they get to immigrate. And they're going to only
Oh,
tell you the good things about it. And you don't know because you're not from these places. Right.
yeah, exactly.
So
I
that's
think that's a real eye opener. That's definitely something I should have considered before just jumping right in. But anyway, I don't think it's too late. I can definitely walk back, reach out to them
yeah,
again.
cool. They're going to be very disappointed. They're going to be so sad.
Yep,
You
I'm
should
pretty
tell them they
sure.
should be immigration agents for but the US are a better country. So but where do you I would first price out what it's going to cost to live in a better place, like a much better place in Africa, and price that
Yeah.
out. And if it's going to cost you 2 grand a month to live there, then base all of your decisions off of that. How do I get there? Because then
Okay.
you're going to be in a much better place mentally, and you're going to be surrounded maybe with other, African entrepreneurs, right? If you're in a nice area, and that'd be cool.
Yeah, and I think there's some rich neighborhoods here in Africa where like for the elite. So I think that can be like that's something that just came across my mind when considering those places. But I think I'm
Yeah.
probably really gonna like consider that as well and price that out.
Make sure you're
And
not staying in the areas where they have child armies, though. Those kind of elite might be the
yeah.
the wrong kind of elite.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that one of the things that I actually am considering very much is Starlink because usually for third world countries, the internet is one of a huge problem. So Starlink is the solution. So
Mhm.
if I can find a place that has that, then I think that's one huge aspect of the place I'm considering before even anything
You could
else.
you could buy it though on your own. It's like what, a few $100.
Yeah, it's $300 here, and like the problem is that it's like our country, Cameroon, is not really certified to run Starlinks yet. So we need someone who can set it up for
Mm,
a different country, like maybe a neighboring country. Then we just connect from there because I think it hasn't really
right.
been rolled out here.
Cool. Well, I would go figure out where you're gonna go next, price it out, and then make sure that your expenses are like 30% of your total income. So if you need to make 2 grand to cover bills, then you should be making like probably about 6,500 in income. And then only look for roles where you can make 6,500 bucks a month. And then that'll allow you to build savings. That'll allow you to have investments. That'll allow you to have fun money. 10% of your money, you can spend 600 bucks a month having fun. I can't imagine how much fun you'll have in Africa for 600 bucks a month. That's a lot. So,
Oh, a lot of fun. Yeah.
yeah, so be super cool, right? So I would just plan it out that way. And then, yeah, anything else?
No, I'm just all I can say is I'm just looking forward to landing a role so that I can be one of your testimonials for this
Yeah,
little package you put together because it's amazing.
yeah,
So I'm looking forward to that.
absolutely. And let your friends know about it because this is, and tell them to get Skype too and tell them to use fucking ChatGPT to answer their questions.
Absolutely.
But it's, yeah, it's built to circumvent every slow job getting process. Every job getting process that exists that I know about is slow. This is the only way to make it go fast. It's just you do
Okay.
cold outreach correctly to the type of companies you want to sell for. So
Okay.
other than that, let's get out of here. Go get a role. You got 3 days. Go do it as fast as
Okay.
possible. And then we'll dance in the streets afterwards or whatever.
Okay.
So
Okay. Thank you so much.
But yeah, you got it. Absolutely. Anything else you need, just let me know. And if you want to talk about my program at some point and see if we can make sense for you financially, I think you'd be a pretty cool person to have inside. So other than
Yeah.
that, let's get the fuck out of here, make some money, make some magic
Okay.
happen, get you living in a place that has straight tiles.
Yeah, absolutely. Straight tiles.
Yeah,
100%.
it's a pretty good way to grade something, right? So
Yeah, actually, like my eyes would be open to that. Yeah.
sweet. So and yeah, that's it. So I got to get out of here. I'm gonna go eat and work, and then you let me know if you have any other questions. But that's it for today.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Absolutely.
All right.
Adios.